In this video, I'll be working on this circuit. This circuit consists of an OR chip. It includes a resistor, and I have also included an LED, a light emitting diode, and a few wires. So this is how the chip looks. This is how the circuit looks like. That is. It may look complicated, but it's actually not that complicated. It's just I just replicated what I have here. So the OR gate that I'll be working with is the one that you see here. Actually two, and both of them are actually on the left-hand side. So at the top, pin 1 and pin 2 are my inputs, and then I have the output of the OR gate, the top one, connected to an input of my OR gate right at the bottom. And I have pin 5 connected to a resistor, and a switch, which I haven't included a switch because I have very little space. I just put there a wire, and you see the resistor is connected to ground, so we can just emit the symbol right after the dot there, the junction. So we can just ignore this little small triangle and simply just ignore it. And the small triangle here, we can also ignore it. What I have here is an LED connected from pin 6 to ground. So this is how it looks like. So this is so these two wires, so this one and this one are my inputs. So input 1, input 2, so input 1, input 2, and obviously VCC to power up my chip. That's pin 14, and then pin 7, which is my ground. I have here the resistor connected from pin 5 to pin 7. Okay, pin 5 to pin 7. And I also have my LED connected from pin 6 to ground. And I also have this small wire that is connecting pin 3 to pin 4. So, to understand how this works, of course, the best thing to do is to actually just to experiment with it. So the first thing, obviously, is you need power. So you need to power your chip. Now I have powered it by clicking this button, and we can see the light come on. The light of the LED now is turned on. So what I will do now is simply experiment. So both of my inputs now are connected to 5 volts. So and I have the override switch that is pin 5. That it is actually connected to ground. Okay. So what I'm going to do. So obviously, what's happening here is, since both inputs here are 5 volts, so we will have one of the input, which is pin 4, is also a high, and that's why the LED has turned on. So to show you what's happening here, both of these are high, and therefore this is going to be high. So since both of these are high, this gate is going to be high, and I'll have a high here. So since one of the inputs is high, the output here is going to be high. So again, both of these inputs are high, therefore I'll get a high here, and there will be a high here. And since one of the inputs is high, it doesn't matter what the other one is, I'll still get a high. So for now, what I have done here is I grounded this. Now, what I'd like to do is make one of these 0. But even if I make one of these 0, since one of them is high, that's all I need, is one of them to be high to get a high here, and to get a high here, obviously, because this is just a wire. So if only one of them is high, I'm still going to get a high at the output, and then I'm going to get a high here. And it doesn't matter what this is. If this is high, I'll get a high at the output. So let's just see what happens if I ground one of these. Now I grounded it. It doesn't change. The light is still on. If I ground both, let's see what happens if I ground both. Well, let's see what happened here. Since I grounded both, now both are low, so I'm going to get a low at the output. This is just a wire, therefore I'm going to get a low here. Since this is low and this is low, this is grounded. I have grounded this. Since this is grounded, what is going to happen is that, just a moment. So since I've grounded this piece of wire, actually yes. So actually it doesn't look exactly like this. My circuit doesn't look exactly like this. What I simply did is I just grounded this, so we can just forget about this line right here to make it easier. So I just grounded this, so this has been grounded, and since I'm getting a low here and a low here, I'm going to get a low at the output. So again, both of these are low, so I'm going to get a low here, and I'm going to get a low here. Since this has been grounded, the output has to be a 0, and that's why my light doesn't turn on. If we look here, the light has turned off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use now, I'm going to make this high. Okay? So this wire right here, I'm going to make it high. So if you look, it is this wire right here. This wire right here. Now it's grounded. It's grounded. So I'm going to change its location to make it high. And let's see what happens. Immediately we see the LED come on. So what has happened? So both of these are low, and therefore I'm going to get a low here at the output, and this is just a wire, therefore I'm going to get a low here. So a low at this input, a high at this input. It doesn't actually matter what is the state of this, whether it's high or low. Since this is high, I will get a high here. And that's what I'm getting. So again, I have two lows here. Both of these inputs are low. So I'm going to get a low at the output. And this wire right here, make sure that this is low. And since this is high, I took this piece of wire and I connected it to 5 volts. So it doesn't matter whether this is high or low. Since this is high, I will get a high at the output, and my LED is going to turn on. And that's what we're seeing right here.